In this Blender tutorial for beginners, I will show you how I made a 2D character expressions pose library. I downloaded the expressions made by PCH Vector from FreePic. The link is in the description. I need to make a change to the image by removing the yellow background. In GIMP, I open the image and right-click on the layer to add an alpha channel. Using the Fuzzy Select tool, I select the yellow color and use Ctrl X to remove the background color. I make a new image that is 3000 pixels by 3000 pixels with a transparent background. I select everything and copy the expressions onto the new square image, making it a new layer. I then scale the layer to the proper size. I export the file as a PNG. In Blender, I add a plane, scale it up, and give it the same yellow color as the facial expressions images, with the hex code F3C532. And a roughness of 1. This will be my face. I rotate the plane around the x-axis 90 degrees. I import the facial expressions into Blender using the Import Images as Planes and rotate it around the z-axis 90 degrees. I then scale the image up by 8. I move the image so it is slightly in front of the face and make sure the material is at a roughness of 1. Under the Settings panel, I set the Blend mode to Alpha Clip and the Shadow mode to None. In the Properties panel, under the View tab, I lock the camera to view and set up my camera view. I will use the Tri-Lighting add-on to set up my lighting. Under the UV editing workspace, I scale the UV down to the size needed for the largest expression. I make any necessary adjustments to the camera and image scale. Now I will make a controller for the expressions. This is based on a technique I learned from RG3D Animation Studio. In object mode, I add a single bone and move it to the side. In edit mode, I duplicate the bone, but I do not move it. I select the head of the bone and use Shift S to snap the cursor to selected. I change the pivot point to the 3D cursor. In wireframe mode, I select the second bone and scale it to a smaller size. Under the Bone Properties tab, I name the smaller bone Anchor and the larger bone Controller. In object mode, I select the image and add a UV warp modifier. Object from is the armature and bone from is the anchor. Object to is the armature and object from is the controller. If I select the bone and go into pose mode, when I move the bone along the x-axis, I can see the next expression on the same row. Now I can make a pose library from the expressions. In object mode, I select the face, and in edit mode, I move the UV to the first expression. In object mode, I select the bone. Under the Object Data Properties tab, I open the Pose Library panel, and in Pose mode, I select New. I then click on the plus button and choose Add New and name the pose. I then move to the next expression and add a new pose and rename it. I repeat this process with the other expressions. If I have the bone selected, all I need to do is select the pose from the Pose library and click on the Apply Pose, which looks like a spyglass, and I'll change the pose. If I want to go from wink to smile to love, I can select the wink expression from the pose library and then select the bone and go into pose mode. I add a keyframe for location on frame 1. I move to frame 10, select the smile from the pose library, click on apply pose, and then add a keyframe for location. I move to frame 20, select the love from the pose library, click on apply pose, and then add a keyframe for location. I copy the frames from frame 1 onto frame 30. This will allow it to loop. When I play the animation, notice that all the in-between expressions are now being animated. The easiest way to fix this problem is to select the keyframes and using the T key to bring up the interpolations menu, choose constant. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this useful. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and turn on the notifications. Have a good day.